Do you want to know why The Witcher has declined in both quality and viewership? Well, according to the producer, I'll tell you why. It's your fault. It's stupid Americans. It's the people that watch TikTok and YouTube. They're too stupid to handle long-form content. And I bet that Henry Cavill's a real problem too. What did he say about fans that didn't like the show?
When it comes to fans, it is a fan's right to have whatever opinion they want to have. And people are going to be upset because you're never going to be the exact person who they had in their head or who they played on Witcher 3, for example. I don't necessarily consider that toxic. I just consider that passionate.
Get out.
Let's get into this article. The Witcher producer blames stupid Americans and emotional young people for the show's failures. Article by Eric Kane. There are times we should probably keep our mouths shut. Times when silence is golden. For instance, let me introduce you to Tomek Baginski, a producer on the Netflix fantasy drama The Witcher. Baginski should perhaps follow the adage, better to remain silent and be thought a fool, than to speak and remove all doubt. In an interview with a Polish news site, as translated by fan site Randandian Intelligence, Baginski gave many reasons why changes were made to The Witcher show that deviated from the books and short stories, including production chaos and unforeseen issues like actors falling ill, all of which strike me as eminently reasonable before saying this. When a series is made for a huge mass of viewers with different experiences, from different parts of the world, and a large part of them are Americans, these simplifications not only make sense, they are necessary. It's painful for us, and for me too, but the higher level of nuance and complexity will have a smaller range. It won't reach people. Sometimes it may go too far, but we have to make these decisions and accept them. Did you hear that, fellow Americans? The higher level of nuance and complexity in the books will be lost on us. We are too stupid.
Okay, let's pretend I don't know what that is.
Do you know what that is?
I do not.
So we could just say that.
Thanks, buddy.
It's not the show's fault, but our own, and we must humbly receive our lumps. It's true. In fact, we were so confused by the books that we didn't turn them into bestsellers in the United States. Our poor empty heads were so rattled by the complexities of CD Projekt Red's games that we didn't turn that trilogy into one of the most lucrative and well-regarded RPGs in history. The Witcher 3 won over 200 Game of the Year awards, including many from American award givers. The poor creators of The Witcher were quite literally forced to dumb down the show because so many Americans were going to watch it, and clearly, that requires changes from the books that make no sense and are confusing for totally different reasons. Huzzah!
Huzzah! The day is mine! I'm gonna miss saying huzzah.
Yeah.
But wait, it gets worse. It's not just Americans, no. Changes to The Witcher that almost certainly drove away its star Henry Cavill, and have seen the most egregious dip in viewership for its Season 3, Volume 2 episodes, also lays at the feet of young people and TikTok. Behold this wild exchange between the interviewer and Baginski. Baginski says, "The audience changes. It's not like it all changes. I see the quickening of the processes Jacek Ducage wrote about in his book After the Script. We resigned from cause and effect chains, from linear narration, this book-like narration. When it comes to shows, the younger the public is, the logic of the plot is less significant." The interviewer asks, "What is significant then?" To which Baginski replies, "Just emotions, just pure emotions."
I'm in control of my emotions.
A bare emotional mix. Those people grew up on TikTok and YouTube. They jump from video to video. The interviewer replies, "You're talking to such a person." Baginski replies, "So it's time to be serious. Dear children, what you do to yourself makes you less resilient for longer content, for long and complicated chains of cause and effect. If you look up the definition of condescending in the dictionary, you'll find this exchange. The interviewer just told Baginski that he was the demographic in question, and that's followed with a 'Dear children' response. Really?" If Baginski was hoping to score some anti-American points with the Polish audience, I'll just say this. Those of us Americans who are upset and disappointed with the show are upset on Poland's behalf. The work of Sapkowski is based on Eastern European folklore to some degree, and the way this show has Americanized The Witcher, transforming it into a murky, generic fantasy, is yet another example of the kind of cultural imperialism that we are fighting against. In any case, I have a hard time blaming the writers when I see a producer make these comments. I'm certain that a great deal of the show's true problems come from the top down, with writers forced to make changes they otherwise wouldn't even consider. Certainly there are writing problems as well, but this makes it obvious that the dumbing down of The Witcher was intentional and motivated by money and greed. If Americans and young people can't handle complex television, why are shows like Game of Thrones so popular? Why does Succession win so many awards? Why was House of the Dragon a hit? Americans enjoyed The Sopranos, The Wire, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and plenty of other smart shows. And young people, those ad-led by TikTok and Instagram, seem to enjoy many of these shows too. They are not driven purely by emotion. I have 2 teenage children who enjoy shows like Severance and Barry. Shows with complicated characters and narrative. This is one of the most insulting interviews I've ever had the misfortune to read. Netflix should keep a tighter leash on its spokespeople.
You should keep your hoe on a leash.
Oh, bro, I can't let you.
Hey.
Can't let you be talking to my
Hey.
woman like that.
Better yet, hire creatives who don't have a disdain for their audiences and the source material that they're seeking to adapt. It's not that hard. That's gonna do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you think of the statements by the producer. Do you like being blamed for other people's incompetence? Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. Oh, and if you've watched The Witcher Season 3, let me know what you think of that too. Until next time, bye everyone.